welcome to our session. We hope you had some coffee this morning and you're ready to listen to our session.
Well, not me, you know, I'm Italian, but this is like coffee totally.
Okay. I honestly don't know how he manages, but okay. So should we introduce ourselves?
Ladies first.
Yes, my name is Horina. I am the engineering lead of the NAV client team.
And my name is Andrea. I'm a software developer also in the NAV client team.
Yes. So it has been a very busy year for us, and we have a lot of cool things to show you today. Actually, when I was preparing for this session, I went through the questions and feedback we have gotten last year in this forum at NAV TechDays 2014. And I was very proud to see that we have addressed all these requests. Not all, but some, most of them. So we really hope you're going to enjoy our session. But before we go into today's agenda, we will start with a little quiz because we have some t-shirts to give away.
Let's see.
Yeah. So who can guess the total number of unique downloads of our tablet app? I know he knows, but is there anybody who volunteers? 8,000. It is between 20,000 and 40,000. Pretty close, but a bit less. Okay, 30,500. I think you. But I guess it
deserves one.
Because you were the closest.
So who was it? Congratulations.
Okay, so yeah, let's go through today's agenda. So we will start with what's new in Dynamics NAV 2016 clients. After that, we will give you a tour of our brand new NAV Universal app. Then it is time for a roller coaster tour of the enhancements we have done for the desktop web client. And last but not least, we will walk you through some of the considerations you need to make when you're implementing your solution for the Universal app. So by the end of this session, we hope you will walk away with a general understanding of the NAV Universal app, a good overview of the enhancements for the desktop web client, and we will also try to demystify the process of implementing and customizing your solution to run across devices. So with that, let's go into what's new.
Let's start.
Yeah. So what's new? Well, you know, a year ago, we have released Dynamics NAV for tablet, which is an app for your iPad, for your Android tablet, or for your Windows tablet. Actually, how many of you are using our tablet app? Okay, I see some hands. That's good. So in this release, we have introduced the next evolutionary step of this app, bringing Dynamics NAV to a broader set of devices. So the Dynamics NAV Universal app runs today on your smartphone, on your tablet, and even on your desktop PCs. So unlike the web client and the Windows client, which are designed for mouse and keyboard interaction, the NAV Universal app knows how to adapt to the screen size of your device and also to the input method of your device, meaning being touch or mouse and keyboard. So, of course, the first question in your minds probably is, where do I get the app from? And it is available on all stores. It is available on the Google Play, on the iOS Store, and on Windows Store. So then, of course, what about backward compatibility? So if you'll be using our tablet app version 1, you will get automatically updated to version 2, and you can still continue to connect to the NAV server 2015. If the server has been upgraded to version 2016, then you need to have the version 2 of the app. And also for the users of the app on desktop and on smartphones, then they will also use NAV server 2016. And one more thing we would like to say about the NAV Universal App is that it also makes use of device capabilities, so you can develop application scenarios that use camera and location. Isn't that cool?
It's very cool.
Yeah. But how did it all started with the NAV Universal App? So in NAV, we really love Windows 10. So we got inspired by Terry Myerson's words about Windows 10. We're not talking about one user interface to rule them all, but we're talking about a product family with a tailored experience for each device. And this is what we have done as well with NAV 2016. We have built a product that delivers the right experience on the right device at the right time. As a result, the Dynamics NAV user interface is intentionally different across devices. And the message we want to convey with the Universal App is that NAV flexes and enables our customers to perform their daily tasks anywhere, basically, whether they are at the office, whether they are outside the office, or on the go, just holding a tablet or a smartphone in their hands. So how does it all come together, right? How do you get the Universal App, right, to build? So, of course, it all starts, as usual, with you defining your pages and your data model. After that, you can define the profiles, the role tailoring, basically, and the configuration. Then the user personalization. And after that, the NAV platform takes over, and it uses a set of layout builders, which are not customizable. And these layout builders, they are basically rendering the controls on the screen. So the layout builders take a lot of decisions based on the screen size of your device, on the type of device, on the page type, and so on. And if we look at these three user interfaces, the tablet interface, the phone interface, and the desktop interface, we can say one thing. They are same, but they're different. So they are same because the NAV clients are built on the same framework, but they are different because the user interface is intentionally different. So with that, maybe we should try to go into demos, and let's hope it's going to work.
I think we can start showing them the real thing. So
let's start the project my app.
Let's switch and see if we can do that.
No, don't start. No, second.
Should be fine.
A second. Say allow.
Because you're extending.
Oh, okay. Let's move it here. Awesome.
Yeah, and let's make it full screen.
Yeah, I will try. All right.
Okay. So you probably already saw this in the previous sessions, but
so what phone do you have there, actually?
Oh, you're right. So this is, first of all, my Windows phone, and it's running Windows 8.1. Here I have my Universal App installed, and I just started it. And this is the role center, how it looks like. You probably saw this already, but in this session, we are going to go a little bit more in details on this. So we start here. We have our tiles. We have our familiar experience with the role center, our activities, and we can get a general overview of our business. But we have the role center. What about our parts? So since we are on a phone, we have less space and a bit lack of real estate. So we had to play a little with this. So your parts now are showing us tabs. So just by using the tip of your finger, swipe left and right in order to access the different parts. Here I am in the navigation menu. Then again on my tiles, moving forward to my chart. Again, my favorite customers, trial balance, report inbox. Usual experience, and it's very snappy and smooth experience on the phone. And here we have an add-in. So Vincent yesterday already mentioned that in order not to break this extremely cool swiping experience, we should not let your add-ins interact with you. Otherwise, well, you will not be able to swipe as easily as I'm doing. So if you want to interact with your add-in, just tap on it, and you will be brought inside your add-in in zoom mode, and there you can start interacting with your add-in. And the nice thing is that this is your JavaScript add-in. There is nothing new, there is nothing new you need to do to have your add-ins run in a phone client. They just work fine, exactly as in tablet and in your web client. So I have my add-in Horina. I guess I will start drilling down. So let me click on one corridor area and get to the customer page. Perfect. And here's the customer page, how it looks like on my phone. And I'm in edit mode at the moment, just because I was drilling down from the chart. So let me use the edit view toggle button on the app bar. You can see the blue bar just at the bottom. And I'm brought to view mode. And did you see something changing? Yeah, we are brought to a different display mode. We have a two-column layout. So like this, you have a broader view of your information. These cards can get pretty crowded, we know that. So that's why we restructure the layout accordingly. So again, tip of your finger, scroll down, scroll up, and you can get access to the different parts of your page. And the experience is very smooth because the type of interaction we have is such. So let me go back to edit mode, and let me just edit the contact name for this customer. So I want to put myself on it.
And Andrea, you want to be the contact person for this customer?
Yeah, I want to experience this thing. So I easily edited the contact name for this customer, and now I'm ready to go back. So notice that the Windows Phone has a physical back button. So I press it, I tap on it in order to dismiss the keyboard, and then back again to go back to where I was before, my add-in. By the way, the value was saved. I'm back to my add-in, which is still in zoom mode, so I'm still able to interact with it. But I want to get back to the role center. Back again, using always my physical back button, and swipe back, and I'm back to my tiles. Okay. Back to your Horina.
Okay. So let's switch to my phone. See if it all works. Yep. So here I have an iPhone 6. So what we would like to show you now is that the phone client has the same look and feel across all platforms. So notice that on Role Center you see the same UI concept that Andrea just showed. But now I would like to have an overview of my customers. So I'm just going to navigate to the customer list. So in the phone client, we have completely redesigned the lists in order to optimize for the available space and the readability of the data. So we are for rendering data in the grid, we are using a new concept called brick view. And I will talk a little bit more in detail later about the brick view concept. Another thing to notice is that we have added continuous scrolling on the lists. So notice how smoothly I can traverse now to the record, loading data on demand. At the bottom of the screen, we have the up bar, just as you saw it on the Windows Phone. But because the iPhone does not have a physical back button, we have added a software back button. And that is used for navigating between action pane and pages, and also between pages. If you would open customer card, you can navigate back to customer list and so on. Another thing to see on the up bar is the magnifier glass. Here we have this magnifier glass indicates the presence of the search, so you can actually search through the records in your lists. So let's tap on that, and the search text box appears. So let's see if I can find the customer that Andrea just modified, because we are actually connected to the same server. And you probably noticed that this is a cross-column search, since he has edited the contact name and not one of the primary keys. So let's view this customer. So by default, in lists, when you navigate from list to cards, the cards will get open in view mode. Notice the same UI components on the card, just as Andrea showed them. But what I would like to do now, I would like to create a sales invoice for my customer. So let's go to the sales invoice. So notice how, of course, right now we have the customer information pre-filled. So all I need to do is I just want to add a line. So I'm going to tap on the plus. So unlike the desktop web client and the tablet client, where the editing in the grid was done inline, in the phone client, we have auto-generated an editing card, and that is done because we because of the lack of real estate on the phone, right? So this card is generated based on the same metadata as the lines grid. So there is no CL intervention. You need to kind of turn this on, turn it on. And the editing, you can do it just as you would be doing it in line. So I will show you that I can type 1,000 in the item number, and then I'm going to put quantity 1. And now you can see the NAV business logging in action also on the phone, because I shouldn't probably create the sales invoice. So I will press yes, and there it is. My line is complete. So I can go back now to the subform. And notice that now we are taken back to an auto-generated list place for the lines. It is sort of a zooming functionality, similar with the one we have added for the charts, in order to cater for the lack of real estate. So basically, in this lines list place, which is built on the same metadata as the subform, you can do your, you can operate with the line subform. So you can open the action pane and invoke the actions that are associated to the page. You can create lines or delete lines or edit lines. And then when we navigate back, we are taken to the sales invoice. So that's it. I am done with creating the sales invoice. So one scenario I would like to show now is on the phone is how quickly we can use the send to Excel functionality. So if you go to the open in Excel, and then we start up the Excel. Here it is. We have the list of our customers, and the data is filtered because I searched for particularly the customer that Andrea created, modified. And yeah, you can do anything you want with this file. You can save it on your device or send it as an attachment and so on. And now I will be navigating back to the customer list. So that brings me to our last demo on the phone, which is a scenario you have seen before, actually. I think probably also in Keynote and also in maybe a workflow session for those of you who attended that. So basically the scenario is I am holding a receipt in my hand, and I am taking a picture of the receipt, and then I am sending that picture to NAV, and NAV will create an incoming document which will have this picture attached. So let's see how this works. So Andrea agreed to be my receipt for today.
I think I can beat that. Go for it.
And I'll say use photo.
Oh, it's uploading it.
Yes. And now the number of incoming documents should increase. And let's, just to show you that is the same picture, to believe us. I don't know if you see this before, but okay, we love this scenario, so. Take some time.
Yeah, you know, iPhone is a bit slow.
Oh yeah, I don't think it's the iPhone actually, but okay.
The network?
Probably, I think, yeah, okay. So let's, if I try to search the mail, see you have the same picture I have taken.
Nice.
Yeah, pretty cool, huh? Okay. So that concludes our demos on the phone. Just to say some takeaways from the phone client, as I said, the look and feel for the client, for the phone client is the same across all platforms, and we have done that in order to keep the familiarity across different devices when you are using the phone client. And also, we have designed the phone client for the end users that want to perform their daily tasks on the go. So most of the most of our UI is reacting to gestures, and it is designed for you holding the phone in the hand, right?
Yep.
So we have one more device to show you today. Let's see if Andrea can bring it up.
Yeah, I'll try not to disconnect it, otherwise it's going to be a mess. So here we have our Surface Tree running Windows 10. You can probably recognize the operating system from the picture just behind me. And of course, we have our Universal app installed on it. So I think I'll just bring it up, Horina. Ready? Let's see if I can succeed in this.
Yeah.
Hey, Cortana. Start Dynamics NAV. Yes.
The funny thing about this is that it always shows a different search string, so people think, it's not going to work, but it does. So,
oh, yes, it's working. Now, let's wait for it to connect.
Yeah.
So if the network allows it, we should be brought to our role center in our tablet app. And by the way, was it just last year we released it?
Yes, that is true. Yeah. So this is our Universal app, and on the tablet right now. And what we would like to show you now is the NAV Universal app knows how to adapt to the mode of your device. So it can easily switch between the tablet mode to the desktop mode, just as the Surface can switch between tablet and into a fully functional PC. So we are touching the keyboard now. And NAV reacts to this mode change, and when you press yes, then it will switch to desktop mode. So the same app, it is now optimized for mouse and keyboard interaction, for precision clicking, and it makes the user feel comfortable performing their tasks on the desktops. But how do you think that was possible to do this desktop mode?
Well, this year we introduced a lot of enhancements, and we worked hard on the web client as well.
Yeah, so actually we have done a lot of enhancement to our desktop web client, around 65 actually. And that is going to bring us to the next step on our journey today. But before we move to that, let's wrap up the Universal app. So basically, why do we call it universal? Because it tailors 3 experiences in one app, and because it also adapts your experience to your activity, to your display, to your device, to the mode of your device, and the input of the device, be it touch or mouse and keyboard. So with that, let's talk about the web client enhancements, right?
Yep.
Okay, so in NAV 2016, we have started our journey of redesigning the web client so it becomes a first-class desktop experience client. And what does it mean, first-class desktop experience client? It means for us 3 keywords, simplicity, productivity, and performance. So one of our main goals has been to deliver a simple user interface, which is for all users, actually, be it new users or advanced users. And we have also invested in productivity improvements for the users that operates with a large data set. So for example, navigation, scrolling, freeze pane are just some of the examples that we have for features that improve productivity. And performance, yes, has been definitely a focus area for us. We have improved the startup time of the web client. And we have also, I think Vincent actually mentioned in the keynote about us moving to a single-page architecture. So that helped us a lot with delivering a snappier UI. Yes, so the message we want to give here about the web client is that with all these 65 enhancements we have done this year, we believe that all user roles operating on desktop will have a great experience using Webclient, and it is a lot easier for you as a partner to deliver a similar experience to our Windows client users, right? So with that, let's start showing the enhancements.
Yeah, so let's...
We need to get out of and then start the desktop app, right?
Absolutely.
So try to search for desktop app.
This one?
Yeah.
We are extending.
Yes, so we probably
Let's switch back to one screen?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess it's better. So allow us just a little trick so we can mirror our display. Yeah, I want to keep these changes. Perfect. I don't need you anymore. And let's go to our universal app. Let's wait just a bit.
Yes.
Okay, Horina, you're good to go.
Okay, so our first enhancement I'm going to so first of all, of course, we don't have time to show all the 65 enhancements we have done. We have just cherry-picked some of them. I think we will probably show some 10 enhancements instead of 65, but okay. So the first enhancement is about simpler deployment. As you have probably noticed from the previous releases, we have always kept a strong resemblance to the Office products in order to make our users feel comfortable when they are working across Webclient and Office 365 in the browser. So inspired by the Office family, we have introduced in NAV a brand new concept called My Settings. So what is My Settings? My Settings is a place where the users can make personal choices about system-wide parameters. And the first one that comes to our eyes, even though not on the top, is the change company. So the users can now see the list of available companies, and they can choose which company they would like to work on. And this is a feature that existed for a very, very long time in Windows Client, and we have gotten a lot of requests of having it in Webclient, and here it is. We have also added language, or the ability to change language, for example, and you can also adjust your time zone, and you can also adjust the work date. And basically, this feature, My Settings, is available also on tablet client and on phone client, which means that these settings are actually portable across devices. And also, what's even more cool about My Settings is that it's fully customizable because it is implemented as an application page. So any partner can add their own system-wide parameters that the users can choose to personalize later. And this is how we achieved a simpler deployment for Webclient. because the administrators do not need right now to install multiple web server instances for multi-language support or for multiple companies. Now, the users can self-sufficiently choose these settings whilst they are connected to only one web server instance. Okay, so that was the first that we wanted to show. And now we have some enhancements we want to show for the lists. So let's navigate to the item list. So one enhancement is about responsiveness in lists. So in 2016, the lists for the desktop web client, they also have undergone some significant redesign in order to address the core usability issues we had, meaning you couldn't see all the data. You had two buttons, page up, page down, and see only 20 rows at a time. So now we have added continuous scrolling. Notice how fast and fluid, smoothly I traverse through the records. And if I can draw your attention to the bottom of the screen, you will see fetching more rows, which means that the data is loaded on demand in order to keep the lists being performant. So we're not preloading all the rows and then just having a scroll bar. We're actually loading data whilst the user is scrolling. Also, the grids have become a little bit more adaptive. So if you are showing the web client on a wide screen, then the grid will stretch and take the space, and it will also load enough data so it fills out the available space. So you can really make use of some of your brand new wide screens.
So many announcements on vertical scrolling, but what can you tell me about horizontal scrolling, Horina?
Yes, so horizontal scrolling has also undergone significant redesign in the web client. As you probably know, the web client was not interpreting the free span column property from the metadata, but now it does. So when I scroll horizontally to the right, take a look how the leftmost columns, they stay in view, and how smoothly the columns animate in and out, making sure that you can always have the full value in view, so we don't really kind of start not showing the value one step at a time. And this feature is, as a bonus, it's also working in tablet clients. So in tablet client, we have taken away the adaptive layout that we had in the last release, where you could only see a certain number of columns based on the screen size. Now the free span is available there as well, and we have added gestures to it, so you can actually scroll left and right by doing swiping. And yeah, so one more thing to say about the free span is that in the web client, if the page does not have free span column defined, by default we chose the first column to be the free span column. And it has this has a little bit of a drawback in the sense that you cannot customize the free span column like you would be doing in the role-tailored client, in the Windows client, sorry. But I mean, it is. We'll think about it to introduce it in the next releases. Yes.
Yeah. So I guess now you can talk a bit about our columns. There is something new.
Yeah. So there's also something new. We have added the ability to personalize which columns you're actually seeing in the grid. So we have added in the context menu of the columns, we have added two actions. One is hide column, which simply takes away the column from the view. And we have also added choose columns, which basically shows you all the possible columns, and then you can make your choices. And after that, the grid will beautifully readjust to the new column structure. So we notice that here we have not re-rendered the page and we have not reloaded or refreshed it. Basically, we have just changed the HTML structure to fit the new column, so it is pretty implemented pretty efficiently. And that gives us to our last demo about the lists, right? Which is the search, right? So notice that in the list we have the magnifier glass icon. And if I click on it, then the search text box animates in, and we can start typing. And notice how, whilst we're typing, the data is filtered. And this is also a cross-column search, as you might have noticed. We can also pause and then refine our search. And we can also use the wildcards that you are familiar with from the quick filter. So you can use star, for example, or or yeah, what other?
Sorry, Danish keyboard.
Okay. And as a bonus, we could say that this cross-column search is actually not available in Windows Client, so it's only available in the web. Okay, but now Andrea is going to show you what improvements we have done to the cards.
Yep, so I would say away from the magic word of lists, and let's go to the magic word of cards. You've probably seen these in some of the previous sessions, probably a glimpse, but in our cards now, we have fully functional fast tabs. So far, we have been having fast tabs fully working on the Windows client. There you could do everything, you could collapse them, expand them, but the web client was a bit stiff. Now, we've brought this experience in the web client as well. So we have fast tabs. We did this because it's a very cool feature and allows you to group your fields and just focus on what you're really interested in. So of course, by clicking on the caption on a tab in the web client, you can collapse the tab. By clicking again, you can expand it. And of course, as soon as the tab is collapsed, the summary section will appear. But before going there, please notice that the first time you get on a page, the first two tabs will be expanded. The rest will be collapsed. So that's just our guess for the most important information in the card. But of course, you will be able to expand and collapse the other tabs to adjust to your own, to what you like the most. And as soon as you collapse one tab, the summary section will appear. And in that section, you will be able to see the fields, some fields depending and according to the importance property you set on CIL. So, you can set this property as standard, additional, or promoted. In case you marked one field as promoted, then it will show in the summary section. If it is additional, it will not show in the tab body. Also, when you expand the tab, you will have to drill down a bit more using show more in order to have it appear. And, we brought this because we know that this is a very cool feature, something important for you to have. And here it is. And another very cool thing about fast tabs is the fact that their state is persisted. So when you leave the page to go somewhere else and then you go back to it, the tabs, their state will be preserved. So what you left collapsed will still be collapsed. What you left expanded will still be expanded. Again, when we show the page the first time, we show the first two tabs, our guess. Then you just change the configuration of your tabs, expanding, collapsing them, and we keep that. So pretty cool, right?
Yes, and actually we have that for other parts of our UI.
The nice thing about fast tabs is that they are also available in the tablet client.
Okay.
So what do we have next, Horina?
So I think next we should show lookups.
Oh, yeah. Well, talking about greasing cards. So, all right. We've also brought in the web client the very cool experience we have for lookups. This has been something, again, available only in the Windows client. It's a very cool feature. We received a lot of requests. And, you know, here it is now. So, inline lookups. Lookup fields, you can bring up the lookup by clicking on the lookup field. As soon as you click on the lookup field, on the lookup button, the lookup will be brought up for you, and you can interact with it. It's a grid. You have all the familiar concepts you're used to in grids. You have vertical scrolling, and with vertical scrolling, you have loading rows on demand, as Horina just showed you a bit time before. So you have continuous scrolling, and horizontal scrolling as well is available with a freeze pane available in lookups. But controlling the lookup is not something you can do only with your mouse. Your keyboard is also capable of doing this. So focus on the field and hit Alt arrow down. By doing that, you will bring up the lookup, and do not leave the keyboard. Stay on that, stick with that, and use arrow up and arrow down to move across the different rows in the lookup. And as soon as you are ready for making your selection, just hit enter, and that's it. Pretty cool, Horina? What do you think?
Yes, we love inline lookups.
Yeah, we love it. And we have something more about lookups, Horina.
Yes, so I think we should show search as I type in lookups.
Yeah. So before, you were showing us the search experience in grids. Well, the same search experience now is available on lookups as well. So get in the lookup field and start typing. As soon as you pause, the lookup will be brought for you automatically by the system.
Yeah, no, the lookup is...
Yep. And the search criteria will be applied. So you are setting a filter, the filter is applied, and then you can still keep using your keyboard as before and move up and down using arrow up, arrow down, and then hit enter the moment you're ready to make your selection. So very fast and pretty simple. And as a last thing to show you, always about inline lookups, is the fact that the search experience is also cross-column in lookups. So same search experience, you can also use wildcards here. And it is cross-column. This is different from the Windows client. In the Windows client, you know better than me, you need to select the column. Here, you don't need that. So it's very fast. You start typing cross-column search. So your filter will be applied across all string-based columns. And well, this is pretty amazing, right?
Yes. Yeah, so that was our last demo on the web client, on the desktop web client. And so I think we should switch to...
back to the presentation,
back
right?
to the presentation.
Okay, let me extend the screen.
Once you do that, then I will try to wrap up. So basically what we want you guys to remember is that we have done a lot of enhancements, and we believe that the user roles operating on desktop, they will have a great experience, and it should be a lot easier to have the Windows client users switch to using web client. So this is have been one of our investments, this release. Yes, so what do we have next on the agenda? It is about developing for the universal app, right?
Yep.
Okay, so when it comes to developing for all devices, you probably think or fear maybe new tools, new languages, new devices, new development environment. But actually, you won't need any of those in order to quickly build a rich, tailored application that should run across all devices. So there is almost no learning curve, because you will still be using the same tools you have until now, the development environment, and you could use the CL language for, you can use the CL language even for accessing device capabilities, as we will show later. You can also reuse your components, your business logic, your pages, and your customizations. Of course, there are some small tweaks we need to do in order, because of the different form factors. But it's not like you will have to rewrite your solutions. And there is low cost in the development because you will not need to buy a new set of devices with the latest version of Android or other operating system. But you can develop and test your app just using your browser and your desktop. And we consider it low maintenance because with Dynamics NAV, you build your app once, and then it will run across your tablet as your smartphone and your desktop. So now I will just walk you through some of the suggestions, considerations we have about developing for across devices. So developing for the phone client is almost the same as for the tablet client, but you have to be aware of the fact that as the screen size gets smaller, then the user experience has to be much simpler and also a bit more limiting. And our suggestion is that you should not design your pages with the assumption of a certain screen size. So in this case, for example, you have two groups, right? And that will probably look good maybe on a tablet or on a landscape mode, right? But if we do that, show that on the phone, yes, we will try to adapt the layout, but you probably won't get the best experience. So what you could do, for example, instead of you deciding the structure of the groups, you could let our layout flow the parts, and it will take care of rendering nicely for you. And so yes, our advice is don't tie your design to a certain device. And the next thing is about bricks layout. So actually, I promised I will come back to this. So is this, as I said, we have redesigned the list in the phone client in order to optimize the available space and the readability of the data. So this brick view concept is actually compressing more columns. Actually, in total, you can compress up to 6 columns in the brick view structure. And how do you implement that in the metadata? Basically, you add these fields to the field group property on the table. And the bricks have up to 6 layouts, depending on with the number of columns you are choosing to have in the brick. We also have some limitations to the brick lists, meaning we do not have the concept of the current row, and we do not have the concept of multi-selection, and we also do not support the show as tree, for example, right? I think show as tree is quite complex for showing it on a phone. And another thing to remember when you're dealing with lists on a phone is that you could make use of the scope property on the actions. So if you would like that your actions appear on the action pane in the editing card that I just showed on the phone, on the iPhone, you should set the scope property to be repeater. In that way, you're indicating to NAV that my action is actually interacting with the row and is not interacting with the page. And of course, if you set the action on the page, then it will be shown in the action pane associated to the subform. And the next one is about card pages. So card pages, they are normally very busy. They render a lot of data, a lot of fields. And of course, you won't have space for that, even with this 2-column layout that we have introduced. So we suggest that you use the importance property on the fields that Andrea actually talked about in the fast apps. Like if you set it on important, then, on promoted, then it will show on the summary. If you show it on additional, then we will take it away from the fast tabs. Yeah, so that's about the card pages. And now the last thing we want to talk about is the device capabilities. So we said before that the NAV Universal App can support the use of camera and location. So this feature is only available for the Universal App. The API for accessing the camera and location is CAL API. It is available in the client extensions assembly. And the API follows the event-based asynchronous pattern. The reason being that when you are interacting with the location, or you're requesting the location, or you're starting up the camera, it can take some time depending on the device. So we will not want that our app is blocked waiting for the GPS, for example, to kick in. So that is why. And now before we go into the demos of how to use these device capabilities, let's talk a little bit about, just briefly, about the architecture, right? So the camera API and location API, I said they are in CAL, right? They're CL, exposed in CL as part of .NET Assembly. And the server will send a request to the client to interact with the device. And for reaching out to the device native capabilities, we're using Cordova plugins, which offers a common interface for accessing, for example, camera and location. So with that, Andrea is going to show you how to use this API for device capabilities.
Sure thing. So now we dismiss the presentation. And we again mirror our screens instead of standing it. Oh, okay. You can see it? Perfect.
Yes.
All right. We talked about it, we chatted about it, you saw it. Now it's moment to develop it. So we're going to implement a few scenarios for developing device capabilities. And they're going to be simple, but straightforward for you to see how easy it is to develop for device capabilities. So are you ready, Horina?
Yes, I am.
All right. So let's use the small business profile and the mini customer card. So one thing you need to know about me is that I'm not a CAL developer. So
he doesn't know
I
the
might
shortcuts.
make mistakes. I tried this a lot. Let's see.
But that's okay, Andrea. That shows how easy it is to use the API, right?
Yeah. But you know how easy a developer like me can screw it up. All right. So this scenario we are going to implement is fairly simple. In the customer card, we are going to create an action to get your location. So our first demo, our first coding session is about that, developing for the location API. We're going to create an action. The user will be able to click on it, and this will bring up a message with his current coordinates. It will tell us where we are. So the start point, and this is valid every time you need to develop for device capabilities, you need to define the objects you're going to use. In this case, the object needed for interacting with device capabilities. So, and we define them as globals. So, as I told you, I'm not a CAL animal, so I don't know the shortcut keys. Forgive me. So, yes, we are going to need two variables. One variable, we call it location available. So location available is a Boolean. And it is a Boolean guard we're going to use to be sure that we can have access to location. Think about it. Every time an app wants to access your location capabilities, your GPS, your geolocalization, you get a little nice message telling you, do you want to allow this user, this app, to access your location? And you can say yes and no. If you say no, then you will not have access to these capabilities. We need to keep that into account. That's why we need this variable. And it's going to be much clearer in a few minutes. The next variable, we call it location. And it is a .NET type. And being a .NET, we need to specify which type. Horina told you before that when you develop for device capabilities, everything you need is inside the client extensions assembly. So we need to reference this assembly. Let's get it. So should be somewhere here. Here it is. Client extensions. We go OK, and we are soon brought to a view where we can see what tabs we can play with. So you can recognize something. There is camera, there is location, some options. So it looks like a fun place. So in our case, we are going to need location provider. So location provider is the type we need, and we set it. Location provider is our entry point for the location API. As the name implies, is the provider for location. So we request to this object locations. We're soon going to tell it, hey, please give me my location. So that's our object. And we're not done yet when we need to define our provider. And that's valid for all the providers in general, because we still need to set a few things. So we bring up the properties. And so can you see these two little ones, run on client and with events?
Yes, we can.
Yeah.
So
you need to set them to yes.
Okay.
Otherwise, it will not work. Why that? So run on client. These APIs are running on our client. We need to grant them access to run on NAV. And with events is because, as Horina probably mentioned before, these APIs are asynchronous. It means that the moment we will request our location, we will not get it immediately. So we will get it after an event is raised. So we need to allow these events to be recognized in NAV. And that's why we need to set yes. What do you want? Okay, just some update. All right. Now we're done. We can save, we can compile. Okay, so far so good. And the first step is done. We have defined our objects. So do you know what's next, Horina?
I think we need to initialize the objects, right?
All right.
In
so now we need, now we need to give them some values. So we go to our CIL code for this page, and we locate the onOpen page trigger. Here, we can add our logic to initialize our variables. So what do we do? The first thing we want to do is checking that we have access to the location. So we can ask to our location provider, is available? So do we have location? Do we have access to location? Did the user say yes? In case, what we do is initializing location. So which keyboard is this? Okay.
You can switch it.
No, I'm fine. Looks like it's not the Danish, it's the US one. Good.
No, it is English.
And we use create in order to create the location provider object. So now here we are creating the location provider. And after we create it, don't forget that we have a guard. So we set location available to true. And that's it. We do not need anything more at the moment. So as soon as I get to the page, I create my object. So it's going to be available throughout all the lifetime of my page. So I can access it very easily. Well, now we have defined our objects, initialize them, we can create the action. So we go back to our card, and we show the page actions. Instead there, we can create an action. So, well, I guess this is fine. We can create our action here. And I'm going to call it getLocation.
Okay.
Yes. And I'm going to set some properties on this action. And the first thing I'm going to set, this is pretty important, the visibility. So, guess what?
We don't want to see that when the location is not available?
Yeah. So if the user said no, we don't display the action at all. So we will not bother him. He will not know there is the ability to access location because we don't have location. And we can use our global variable to flip the visibility of our action. And just a few more minor things. Just let me set this thing as promoted. And I think all the other actions here are on category 4.
That's
and promoted big. Yeah, this action is nice, so I want it to be big. Okay. So we have defined our action. We have defined our action, and I guess we can now add logic to it. So let's add some logic, and let's show the CL code. And here we have the onAction trigger. Here, we are going to request location. So we use our location provider, which is, we called it location. And here we are, request location async. So this is the place when we start requesting for location. As you can see, where is my location? Does this thing return me something? Where do I save it? It's not here. So again, it is the asynchronous pattern. It means that you will not get access to the real location there because you're just requesting location. You need to wait for the device to be ready to give those information back to you. But meanwhile, while you're waiting for the device to do its magic, you're not blocked. The user can still do whatever he wants, he can interact with the device, do whatever he likes, because we're not blocking you. That's the magic of the asynchronous pattern. And once it's ready, you're going to be able to fetch location here. So this function was automatically generated by our extremely nice development environment the moment you created the location global variable. And here we can add the logic to receive our coordinates and do whatever we want with them. So what do? The first thing is checking that our request was successful. Why that? So I don't know, your user might be a spy or whatever, it can be in a bunker. So he might want to request location there, and of course he will not have access to the satellite. So your request might not be successful every time. Keep that in mind. So ask status and check if it is 0. 0 means, fine, you get your coordinates. So if we have our coordinates, then we display those coordinates. So you are here, and we just put a few placeholders. And no, this is our architect. No. How can I dismiss it?
Just
ignore. Go away. Yes. Where are our coordinates? They are here. Coordinate? You forgot to.
I forgot to
to shut down Skype.
Sorry about that.
And
I didn't mean to screw your demo.
yeah. So location, coordinate dot longitude. They are there, and we display them in a message. And if we do not have them, well, we just display a pretty sad message that we can make a bit funnier. That's it. Looks fine.
Okay.
So if I didn't make any mistake, I should compile. I did something.
So you're missing the...
Wait a moment. Okay.
Else,
of course.
else, yeah.
Of course. That's your fault. It was the moment Skype popped up. And I lost my cool.
I'm sorry.
You're going to pay for this, Horina. She's my manager. Okay, you can try it out.
So let's try out. Let's see if we can switch to the iPhone. So that was on the customer card, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yes? Isn't that actually that happens automatically now, as far as I know? So, but in any case, let's see.
Yep, there it is.
So it is the location.
Oh, thank you. My first CAL demo worked. I feel proud. Right.
Okay.
So you experienced the how to develop for location API, and I think we have time also for.
Yeah, we have
yes.
We have time to show also the camera.
Perfect.
I mean, the API is pretty similar, but it's just a different way of getting the data, getting the pictures. So we can also show that.
So next scenario. Next scenario, we move from the location to the camera. And with the camera, we just snap a picture. Here, in order to make the thing a little bit different, we're going to play with something called camera options. So when you create a provider, you know, we just create our provider and we call request location async without passing anything. So there, we can actually set some options, but we left them with their default values. But with the camera, we're going to show you how you can pass some more information to your API in order to get different kinds of information. In our case, what we want to do is being able to take a normal quality picture and a high quality picture. The way to do this is by means of the camera options object. So I will not be detailed as before in the first part, so allow me to speed it up a little. So, who remembers the first step?
I do.
I don't care. So, anybody remembers what we need to do? Yes, give me a shirt. This guy deserves a shirt.
Okay.
Yes. Who are you, sir? Oh, you already have one. Yes. That's not nice.
He wants another one.
Yeah. But exactly, we need to define variables. So we get to globals, and we are going. We stay on the same page. We like.
Oh yeah, sorry.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry.
That's your fault, Horina.
Again. That's just. Yes.
All right.
Sorry.
Yes, here we are. Sorry for that. Perfect. Defining variables. Let's do this. So, well, out of fantasy, I'm going to create location available. This is going to be
camera available.
Sorry, camera available. It's pretty repetitive pattern. And we now create the camera provider object. So again, this is a .NET type. We need to specify which type. And remember, everything cool is in our assembly client extensions. We will reference it. And here we get to camera provider this time. We select it, and fine. So who remembers now the little trick we need to use? Mm-hmm. Are we done with defining this variable? Again?
Yes, they initialize
yes.
the variable.
The events and run on client. All right, here we have our shirt. Who are you, sir? There you are. Okay. Precisely. So we bring up the properties and we set them to yes. Perfect. We just save, because I feel safer. And so for this demo, I was mentioning that we will go a bit further. So we need camera options as well. But before that, since we're going to handle a file in this demo, we need a file object. So we call it incoming file. And this is a file. So once we get, not now, our encryptor, once we get our image, we need to play with it. And since it is a file, we need a file variable, file typed variable. And here now we get to the camera options. This is a .NET type, living in our namespace, in our assembly client extensions. And this time it is called camera options. So we select it. And that's it. For this guy, you do not need to set run on client and with events.
Of course.
Only the providers. And because providers are those who are using the asynchronous pattern. Yes, I think we are done here with defining globals. And the next step is initializing these things. So CAL code. On open page, oh, okay, here we have our nice logic of before, and you know what? It's going to look pretty much the same. We check whether the user granted us permission to use camera, and in case, we can initialize our object by invoking create. And do not forget rguard, which is pretty important. Yes, and this is done. All right. So we also initialize the logic. So a bit fast forward, and we now go to the page actions. And in the page actions, we add a new action. We add a new action, and you will probably guess, get picture. Get picture, and we set a few properties here. Visible, we flip visibility thanks to camera available. And just a few more tuning. I want it promoted in the same category as the other actions in this group, and big. Fine. And now we need to add some logic to this variable. Not this, but yes, this. All right, CL code. And here we are. And, well, you can probably guess it. It is just the same. Request picture async in this specific case. So again, using the asynchronous pattern, we can request for a picture. And again, as before, you don't get the picture here. You will get the picture in a handler function, which was created and generated automatically the moment you created the camera object, the camera provider object. And here, we can play with it. Yep, we're gonna use our incoming file and open the location, so picture file path. And after we do this, we can, well, display a very simple message with the size, which is important because I want you to realize that the quality is changing when you will take a picture with a normal quality picture and you take a high quality picture. So, and incoming file dot then. After that, it is very important that you properly dispose your file. So the moment you request a picture, you will see this. Horina will play with it. You will take this picture. The picture will be uploaded to the server on a temporary folder. And it is a temporary folder where you need to deal with your stuff. So it's there, play with your image, play with your file, we don't care about it, but after that, be sure to clean it. It's your responsibility. So here we close it. And, sorry, yes, we properly clean it. Picture, file path. This should be successful. Yes. And this is for, no, wait, Horina, we have the other action. Okay, so this was the simple action. So the only new concept here is for the new important concept is the fact that being it a file for the camera API, you need to properly dispose it here in the handler. And now let's play with the camera options. I promised you we would have created 2 actions. So the other one is get picture high. So here we are going to get a high quality picture. How? By playing with the camera options. Same as before, this is an action which has some point only if the camera APIs are available. So we use our global guard. It is promoted. Same category as the others, and big. We save it, fine. And now we do our magic here. So how to do this? Very simple. Do you remember camera options? Yes. So we are going to initialize it. I probably choose a bad name because this is the way you do this. If I had chosen a different name, it would have been better than these camera options equals camera options.camera options. My fault. But the important thing is that here you can set quality to 100. Quality is a value ranging from 0 to 100. 100 simply means the picture is going to have the full resolution allowed by the device. If you set 80, it's 80% of this full resolution. By default, the value is 50. And then we can request our picture, and we pass camera options in here. Yes, of course. I had to do this mistake.
That's okay.
Now you can play with it, Horina.
Okay.
So Horina is going to show you the 2 actions.
Let's see if I'm ready.
Okay.
So which one should I start? Get picture?
Yeah. Smile.
This is how you see from up here.
Okay, let's keep note of the size. Okay, fairly light.
Oh, sorry.
And now let's use the other action for taking a high quality picture. So this iPhone, well, it should be a high resolution. So we expect it to be bigger. Yeah.
It
yeah,
is.
definitely.
Okay.
And that's it.
That was pretty cool. You
Yes.
see, it's pretty simple to use.
Well, even I could do that, so you can do this, for sure.
Yeah,
and let's switch back to the presentation because I have a little bit more things to chat about. So let's extend it.
Changes.
Yes, and okay.
Yeah, starting.
All right.
So.
Where is the thing?
Yep. There you go.
Okay.
Click.
So you could see that developing for device capabilities is fairly easy. Again, we didn't use anything different from everything you've been using today, until today. So it's our development environment, all the tools, everything we are familiar with. The experience is exactly the same. Horina already told you that. No new tools, no new languages. That's what you have been using in the box, always. So that's what we want to remark. Again, let me underline one thing. There are a few limitations that you should take into consideration. because now the experience on a device such as a phone is different. You have less space, things are different. So you're going to have some limitations. Design your solutions accordingly. So in the first place, let's consider a feature like multi-selection. Multiple selection is something you have available only in the web client. You do not have that available in the tablet client or in the phone client. So design your pages accordingly to that. Again, activity buttons, something you have in the web client, not in the tablet, not in the phone client. Worksheet pages, yet another example. But this time, they're not available on phone, but available in the tablet and web client. I would like to bring another example, which are lists. You could see that on a phone, a list looks totally different from how it looks like in the web client or in the tablet client. Because we lack real estate, we have smaller screens, things are a bit tougher. So we had to use bricks to show layout in a different way and try to display all the required information. But there, for example, you will not be able to display a fact box. On a list, on a phone, it's just impossible. It means that you should give up on those facts? Absolutely not. You can work around on this. So if, in this specific example, you can find a solution to this little problem by simply ensuring that that fact box is also displayed in the card page. In the card page, you will have those facts available. So we have limitations. We know that. You can work around on this. You can play with it. And it's not like you're alone out there. We are here, and all these limitations are fully documented on our MSDN site. So go there, check them, and develop your solutions and let us know. As well as new challenges. So developing solutions for multiple devices is pretty amazing experience, but sometimes you might want to display information differently, depending on our client type. So you might want, for example, to display information in the role center as queues, in the tablet client, in the phone client, and as card pages, or card parts in other clients. In order to do that, you have the ability to use current client type variable in CAL. So with this, you can define different layouts depending on the client. You can differentiate the experience across our clients. And that's something we advise you to do. And the other thing we want you to always be aware of is the fact that on the phone, rigid layouts, the rigid structures do not flow well. Try to avoid using them when you're developing across devices, because you will have problems with these structures in the phone. So try to use flexible layouts. Try avoiding grid layouts and fixed layouts, if possible. And if you really need to use them, then again, use current client type variable in order to differentiate the experience across devices. There is one last thing I would like you to keep in mind, and it's the fact that testing your solutions for multiple devices can be tough. You know, we've been through this, and Vincent showed yesterday this big picture with the Android market and all the different display sizes. It's just crazy. You cannot go there and test on different devices each of your page. It can take time and be cumbersome. So we have added something for you, and those are our SPX pages. you're already aware of that. We have default as peaks, we have tablet as peaks, and now we have also phone as peaks. So just let me show you these. Again, I need to, yeah, but I need to...
Just move it. Can you just move it instead of extending, actually?
Oh, you're right.
I mean,
Yes. So this is, wait a moment, I need to adjust the size. So this is phone.aspx. Let me resume it. And by using phone.aspx in a browser, you can actually see how your page looks like. You don't need a device for that. Use your browser and play with it. So here, in a browser, of course, you will not have the same experience as in a device. We cannot swipe here. We need to use the old-fashioned scroll bar. But fine, maybe we don't really need this swiping if we don't really need to test it. Just if we want to see how our pages look like. So use these pages to test your applications. It's not difficult. You can, it gets easier. You just need to realize that you have the tools for doing this. And we hope that you go out there and build your pages, your solutions. We are really eager to see them. So go ahead and have fun.
Yep. Okay.
Yep.
Thank you, Andrea, for your demo. So I think we are pretty much at the end of our session. And but before we start into questions, we have actually put up some of the questions that you know that we know that probably they are in your minds. So let's go through them. So does NAV work offline? And the answer is currently no. How universal is our universal app, right? So when we think about Windows 10 and what universal means for Windows 10, that means a lot of type of devices, from Internet of Things, from tablets, from smartphones, from Xbox, and so on, right? Does NAV actually run on all of this? And the answer is no. We are primarily working on smartphone and tablet and desktop. What about the new wave of platform versions, like a new version of iOS or Windows 10? Sure, yes, definitely we are going to support that. We have a 3 months period to adjust to some of these new platforms, so we'll probably issue some updates if necessary. Do we support barcode scanning? And the answer is no. You can take a picture with the barcode, but that could be quite cumbersome when you are working in a warehouse and you're doing this exercise pretty frequently, right? But there are also some barcode scanners that could introduce the text directly into the text box, so we recommend you guys use that. And the last question, should I avoid building native apps? So the answer is not really. It all depends on the scenario. So if your scenario is about completing a daily task using NAV and NAV business logic, then our solution is the best. But if you are thinking about a very tight integration with your device or a very specific type of UI, then we do recommend that you build your native app using the NAV web services. Yeah, that was all we had. So we could move into questions.
Yep.
Yes. Yep. So, can anybody help with the mic or?
Hello.
Let's just go ahead.
I need to know if the web client is as reliable as the Windows client, and if it's more faster than the Windows client. And of course, I need to know if it works on ASP.NET.
Sorry,
If it works on HTTPS?
ASP.NET.
Ah, okay.
So let's repeat the question. So your question was whether the Web client is reliable, just as reliable as Windows client.
Yes, and if it's faster than Windows client.
And it is faster than Windows client, okay? So if it is of course it is as reliable as the Windows client. This is what the message we're trying to convey here today. In terms of performance, I think so. Actually, we have done a lot of improvements to our web client performance. I mean, of course, optimizing for performance is an ongoing task that we always have our minds in any of our releases. So, I think so, to answer your question. I didn't really get the last part with, but okay, we can. If we're using ASP.NET or?
No, if the web client uses ASP.NET.
Yes, it does.
Yeah, thanks.
Very little though. We are moving to browser-side rendering
just a few
right
components.
Now. Yeah.
I wanted to ask if how worksheets are different and why they are not supported in phone client.
So I think main reason is because worksheets are meant for inline editing of your data, and we really wanted to. If we would be enabling worksheets, we really wanted to offer the users a great experience, and we're not sure, using this editing in cart might be the great experience. But we will have this in mind. Any other questions?
Hello.
Yeah.
So yesterday we have seen that we can totally change the visual of the RTC. So is it possible also in the phone client as well to make some add-ins in there? To
make some add-ins?
Yeah.
Yeah, we are supporting the JavaScript add-ins. The client extensibility framework is basically available in web client. And actually, if you are using the JavaScript add-ins, you can write your code once using JavaScript, and it will run both on the web client and on the Windows client.
Hi, I'm a bit puzzled about the location and the camera .NET type class that you're using, because you're running it on client, but you cannot run .NET on an iOS or non-Windows device. So how does that work?
You mean you're referring to the .NET interoperability or what?
Yeah, you're selecting a .NET class, run on client, but it doesn't run on a non-Windows client. It doesn't run on iOS. So how can you select run on client and still use the camera?
Because we are relying on Cordova. So basically, on your device, we are relying on Cordova to have the same, to have an abstraction of all the inner logic which happens below the stack, basically. So Cordova will abstract this on both on all platforms supported, so iOS, Windows, and Android. So that's why you can do that. Any more questions?
Yeah.
There is one here.
Hello, good morning. Just got a question about the minimum bandwidth requirements.
Yes, I do not recall that. But we can look it up. What we have done is we have done a lot of investments in offering the user a great reconnect scenario. So basically, if you are in places where there is a low bandwidth, then you lose your connection, then the client will try to reconnect, and it will actually take you back to, at least we will try, and of course if you have a lot of modal dialogues open and so on, it might not be possible, but in general we'll try to bring you back to the same context before the connection was lost. Yeah.
In 2015, you did the setup for the mobile client and web client in the RTC in the Windows client, so that the mobile client sees only those fields and rows. Is this still the same for 2016 and new versions, so that you do the user and role setup in the Windows client, and after that the web client looks like the same?
Yeah, we still support the configuration for web client, that is true.
Okay, also for the fixed rows, because you told us that the first row is always the fixed row?
The first pane.
The first pane?
The first column.
The first column, yes.
For the free pane or?
Yeah, in 2015 you can set it up in the Windows client, and it's also applied in the. No, it wasn't available there.
No, it was not available,
yeah,
so that's why I'm a bit confused. So, but yes, I mean, you can customize the free pane column in the role tailor client, and then web client will take this in consideration.
Okay, thank you.
So you can customize it. It's just that it would be nice to have it to customize it directly in the web client, right? Yeah. Okay.
I think that is all.
Okay, but we are
Thank
also
you.
up. Thank you very much.